Hey, everybody. I just had an awesome conversation with Matt Rosenthal on Digging In. What a great opportunity to share my story. We talked about where I came from, what the trials and tribulations have been through business and personal success, as well as setbacks, and how I built up my real estate company, my software company, but most importantly, the network of awesome people that I surround myself with. Matt is a phenomenal host, and I really enjoyed the show, and I look forward to having you watch it and providing some great feedback. Enjoy.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Matt Rosenthal with Digging In. Have a phenomenal guest today. You're going to want to take notes. Grab your paper and your pen, your laptop, whatever you're going to take notes with. He's got so much experience and he's done so much that there's so much value you're going to get from this conversation. I don't want you to walk away and have to go watch this all over again. Let me just tell you one of the things that I find most interesting before I actually bring him in. He lost 100 pounds. And you want to talk about a life-changing event? He's going to talk about that. And I think that, to me, that's what I'm most interested in. But his business acumen and the things he's done in business, he's a real estate expert, and his passion when it comes to real estate and luxury real estate, it's just, as he talks about it, you're going to hear it, come through the screen. And I really hope that you take a lot of lessons away from the story he's going to tell you about not just losing weight, but about how to build a business, how to be successful, and maybe most importantly of all, how to do all that with a wife and kids and a family. So Ben, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, Matt. It's an honor to be here, and I'm really looking forward to chatting with the audience and sharing my story. I appreciate you inviting me on today.
Well, wow, with what's going on around us, I couldn't be a more appropriate time, and when it comes to real estate and your opinions and your perspective is going to be interesting. Before we get into what you're doing right now, let's go back, right? Because if we jump right into now, it's like, well, he's done this, and he's built this, and that's too easy. I want to go back to how it all began, like where the passion came from. What was it like when you were growing up? Did you grow up around a family that was involved in business and entrepreneurial and real estate? Like, bring me back to wherever you think that was, where you can remember where it all began for you.
I have to go back to in utero, back to 1977, a long time ago. I mean, you asked for it.
Let's do it.
The reality is I'm in real estate, and my life experiences happen because of a variety of, I guess it would be accidents that put me where I am. And I know you're not supposed to have accidents. Everything has a purpose, but there were some serious accidents. I moved to Florida in the early 1990s when I was a kid in high school against my free will. My parents absolutely ruined my high school experience by sticking me in the family station wagon. Dad went into early retirement by selling his company in New York City. We left the island of Manhattan and moved to a little tiny village called Boca Raton, Florida. Who'd ever heard of Boca Raton, Florida back in the early 90s? Certainly not a place to raise a family. But Dad wanted to retire and wanted to enjoy the no income tax and enjoy the sunshine and enjoy the beaches. So I didn't have a lot to say. So I get in the family station wagon. We get to South Florida. I'm a sophomore in high school. And you want to talk about torture. They moved us when I was during Christmas vacation. I mean, who moves an adolescent during Christmas vacation of high school? I went from being like the coolest, most popular kid in school to being like the social outcast. I was miserable. And I tortured my parents for the 6 months leading up to the impending move to South Florida, because who wants to live in Boca Raton when you're living in Manhattan and you think it's the center of the earth? And like, most people from New York, we are convinced, we're brainwashed to believe there's nowhere else on the planet to live and anything else is subhuman. So that's the way I was raised. We get to South Florida. Christmas break was just awful. And
how old were you?
I was 15. It was sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
January, I enrolled in school, and I went to Spanish River High School, a.k.a. West Beverly High from Beverly Hills 90210. I mean, frosted blonde tips. Everyone had convertibles. We said the word dude a lot, and we all had sunglasses indoors and outdoors, even during school.
I don't think much has changed.
No, but this was really out there in the early 90s. So I come home from school the very first day, and this actually began my real estate career. And my mother said, how was your first day of school at Spanish River? And I said, Mom, it was incredible. I loved it. It was awesome. And she said, you were there like 6 hours. Because, of course, in New York, high school is like 9-hour days. In Florida, high school is like 4 to 6 hour days. So that was a long day, 6 whole hours.
Right.
She said, how did you love it so much in just one day? I said, first of all, look at the weather in South Florida in January versus New York. check the box. The academics, what I learned sophomore year in high school, is exactly what they taught me in third grade in New York in private school. So I will do nothing academic for the balance of high school and get straight A's, because these kids are learning exactly what I learned when I was like 8 years old. So school's going to be a piece of cake. But the most important thing was, look at the girls. Look at the girls. Oh my God, they're gorgeous. When I went to school, they were buttoned up to here. They were buttoned up to here. They had hoods and hats and jackets and scarves and schmatas on their head. In South Florida, these girls literally, and granted, this is early 90s, so I could say this. I'm going back in time. You guys appreciate my honesty. They literally could take their shirts off, and they had bathing suits under their clothing, and they were allowed to tan in the courtyard of school. Like, this is paradise.
Yeah, it's definitely the 90s.
Are you kidding me? No longer the case, but back then, this is all that mattered to me, right? As any 15-year-old, you can understand that. So my mom says to me, with all that free time you're going to have and all that social distraction, you best find yourself a part-time job. Well, it's illegal to work in the state of Florida under the age of 16. You can't even work in McDonald's. So who's going to hire a 15-year-old kid who's fast talking from New York, thinks on their toes, but can't be paid by W-2 and has to get cash under the table? And I don't want to babysit. I got a job working for a realtor, telemarketing, calling to set appointments for the realtor to go in and pitch them on a listing presentation. I had no appetite for real estate, but I had the gift of gab. I like being on the phone, and I can get cash from a realtor because most realtors don't follow the law anyway, and they just pay cash under the table. So it's perfect for me. So 3 hours a day from like 2:30 to 5:30 every afternoon, I'd leave high school when the day was over, and I'd make calls. And I got good at it. And $5 an hour with $20 for each appointment, that went a long way. That bought me a good time on the weekends with my friends. So for 2.5 years, I mastered the art of cold calling on behalf of real estate agents, setting appointments, not because it was my appetite or my life's mission. It was the only person that would hire me, and I was good at it real quick. Simple. Accident number one. Accident number two is I get to the University of Florida, like all of my fellow family members who are Gators. And because I'm the prince of the family and I should have to do nothing for myself and everyone should cater to me and wait on me, I never filled out my student housing paperwork. So accident two is getting bounced out of the dorm at 17 and a half years old, freshman year summer B, and not having a place to live. I show up with my entitled, obnoxious attitude to college, and I said, yo, where am I supposed to park? Where am I sleeping? And they said, young man, the dorms have been filled for 6 months. Did you not fill out your housing paperwork? No, it's my first day here. Class starts tomorrow. I need a place to sleep tonight. And of course, they can't accommodate, so they refer me to an off-campus real estate company. Accident number three, I walk into the real estate office. My parents are irritated as hell because now the costs are going way up to pay for off-campus housing because I never registered for a dorm. But there's a placard on the receptionist desk that says help wanted, administrative support. I don't know what administrative support is. I'm 17. I get a great second job in the real estate business, cleaning bathrooms, filling the copy machine with copy paper. They taught me technology. I was able to learn how to use the scroll wheel on the fax machine. That was super sophisticated. Answering phones, clearing out the voicemail. And if I was real lucky, they let me Windex the front door that was glass to clean off all the fingerprints. I worked my way up during that 4.5 years that I spent in Gainesville the first summer, plus 4 regular years, from being an academic studying political science, thinking I was going on a law school mission and journey, to being infatuated with the real estate industry. I stayed at that same part-time job and worked my way from cleaning the windows up to being the office manager over 4 years. I graduate college. My parents are devastated.
Pause for a sec. Did you get your license during that time?
Nope, just worked administratively. I did phone answering, I did filing, I did paperwork production, everything clerical, cold calling, appointment setting, what have you. Didn't get my license, but I knew when I graduated, that was my first goal. I graduate, mom, dad, great news. I have my college diploma, which officially means I'm the smartest man on the planet. You can't learn anything else. You're done. College is the pinnacle of intellect. It's downhill academically from here. There's nothing else to learn in life.
Right.
And they said, great, which law school do you want to go, big mouth? And I said, I'm not going to law school. And they said, you have a political science degree. You have a BS in BS. You have no other skill set other than law school with a political science degree. And I said, mom, dad, good news. I know what I want to be. It's not a lawyer. I'm going to go be a realtor. Knife in the heart. My parents were mortified. Right. A realtor, not a realtor. At least in a car dealership, at least there's benefits at the car dealership. They were ticked off beyond belief. We got into a bad fight. But eventually we made up, got my real estate license just a couple weeks after college ended, and I started selling.
What year was that?
That was in the year 2000. The .coms were just coming off fire. So I guess that was accident number 4, right time, right place. Started selling real estate right in the beginning of
Well, yeah, talk
2000.
about timing. Wow.
I told you a lot of accidents
Wow.
happened in my life to get me where I am. So you probably some of your viewers might know the Yiddish word beschert. This was absolutely dumb luck.
Wow.
So I started selling, and all the investors started coming from Canada, from New York, from South America, from Europe. I picked up some French because I took some French classes in college, so I was able to converse better with the French Canadians and some of the Europeans than most of my competitors. The bar for competition is not very steep in my industry, so I was able to blow them out of the water working with some of the foreigners. And we began making a lot of money, mostly selling new construction property. People were buying on speculation. It was inflating in value during the construction period. And then they would flip the property at the end of the construction for way more than they went to contract for 1 or 2 or 3 years earlier. I began taking a lot of my own money and investing it in real estate because not only did I want the greedy little commissions I got from selling it to others, but I want to double greed. I want to do my own investments. So I'm 27 years old, and I borrow $4.5 million from Bank of America. Big mistake. When you're 27 and your parents are barely upper middle class, you don't go borrowing $4.5 million from a bank to speculate on real estate. I thought it was a good idea to buy 9 houses at one time. Also a bad idea.
And you were
No,
6 years away from 08, which you didn't know.
no, it was now 08. That was
Oh, this
28.
happened
No, 27 years old. I borrowed $4.5 million in
right
7.
then?
Yeah,
Ooh,
bad
okay.
timing. Bought 9 houses, right? Because you have 9 houses, I have 9 houses, we all have 9 houses, and they're all vacant. They all have no utilities, and the grass is about neck deep. So the market totally collapses, and I'm here making mortgage payments at 27 years old of about $32,000 a month, carrying the interest on my $4.5 million mortgage. Interest
Wait,
only,
you gotta
negative
slow down.
amortization.
You gotta slow down because I understand what you're saying, but just to be clear, at 27 years old, you had, what'd you say, 4.5 million in debt?
I borrowed $4.5 million, $500,000 a house, bought 9 houses.
Okay, you bought 9 houses, and the market was. You're about to tell me
About
the market
to crash.
crashed.
Correct.
Okay, and you're stuck making 32,000 a month. And did you
Payments,
end up with a lot of
mortgage.
vacancies, or did your tenants stay in
Oh,
during
no,
that
no.
time?
They were never occupied. They were never intended to be occupied. They were bought on speculation.
You were
They were
flipping
going
them?
to appreciate during the construction period, and then I was going to flip them. The problem was when they were done with construction, my $4.5 million that I thought was going to be worth $6.5, $7 million was worth $2.5 million. That was a big problem. So I'm saddled with these mortgage payments of over $1,000 a day. I want your entire audience just to have a moment of silence right now to pay respects to my loss of money. Over $1,000 a day in interest payments as a 27-year-old in the early 2000s. And I don't have a rich mom and dad to lean
I want
back
you.
on.
I don't want. Wait, you got to pause for it because you're a good storyteller, and I don't want to interrupt you, but there's so many questions already. We got to back up a sec. You.
I think they're going to come full circle, though, as I tell the rest of the story, but go ahead.
Probably. Okay. So you said your parents. What did your parents do for a living?
My father owned a pension drafting company. He'd write retirement plans. He sold that business, moved to South Florida to retire.
Okay. What did your mom do?
Housewife.
Okay. So they come. So you sort of entrepreneurial environment, I guess, in a way, with your dad.
My dad had his own business, but he
Yeah.
retired on the younger side.
Right.
Mom had a little bit of a sales background from pre-marriage.
So you're figuring this out. Like you didn't grow up in this soup. Like you're figuring this out on your own.
Absolutely.
That's what you're leaving out, and I want you to say that.
My dad had invested in some real estate back in New York, and it all went down the toilet. So I was not learning that from him, but I learned the toilet part from him. I learned how to put my real estate in the toilet.
All right. So this is going to come full circle because I know there's a happy ending, but you thought you knew what you were doing, and you've told me 3 times.
I made a ton of money from 21 to 27. But
That's
it was
what
that
I want you to take me through. How did you do that?
It was that last roll of the dice where I had all the chips on the table.
But when you were in your 20s and you started so you graduated college, you're working as a realtor, you do have a gift, right? So people liked you, people wanted to work with you, people were buying from you, and it was a time where, I mean, it was definitely a better time. The market was definitely going the right direction, like we've recently experienced up until now. So how well did you do? I mean, were you like where did you stand typically every year? Were you listing, selling?
I'll paint a picture. I'm 27 years old. I live in a 3-bedroom, single-family home in a country club. I drive an S-Class Mercedes. I wear a Rolex, and I have season football tickets to the Florida Gators, and I go to every game.
Thank you.
That's how well I did in my 20s, coming from nothing.
And you did, that's what I want. And you did that on your own. And so what is it about you that allowed that to happen? Forget how good the environment was. Plenty of people around you. What did they say? 80% of the people in real estate don't make any money. It's the 20% that make it all.
It's the tenacity.
What was special about you?
It's the tenacity and it's the work ethic. You mentioned, I have to correct your comment about the 100 pounds. I lost 121 pounds. So don't cut me out for that extra 21 pounds. That matters. That's another 2 inches in the waist.
Tenacity. Give me the other word you said.
It's the work ethic. It's the tenacity. It's the drive. And it's that I have zero tolerance for second place in anything that I do my entire life. Second place is the first loser, period. Right. I've never celebrated second place in my life. I will not celebrate second place. There's always room for improvement. And it's more challenging for me to cope with is that when I get on top, I'm not happy just achieving it once. I have to stay on top. I can't tolerate tasting supreme success and then tolerating anything after that less than supreme success. So my best is only best for that moment in time. It has to be better tomorrow and better the following week and even better than that a year later.
What sports did you play in school?
Football.
All 4 years?
Well, I played intramurals in college. I didn't play for the Gators, but I did play in high school. Yes, all the way through.
Yeah. Do you have any siblings?
I have 2 younger sisters. One has my disease, and the other one, her husband has my disease, so she doesn't have to work.
I've never heard it called a disease. That's brilliant. Oh, okay. So this is the picture. Like, now we're getting the picture. Like you're hardcore. All right. So now you did that at 21 to 27.
You're about to hear the collapse of how poor I became. Don't you want to hear the good part of when I was really broke? Let me tell you how
now we got a good foundation.
I had less money than your pet. Whatever pet you have, I had less money than your pet.
A little white fluffy dog. But now we have a good foundation.
Less money than your pet when I was 28.
All right.
So the market
go.
The market crashes. And of course, everybody back then was doing short sales, foreclosures, cash for keys. My parents did teach me something in business, and I give them a lot of credit for their lessons, not so much for their success in business, because they were always modest. They didn't achieve what I've achieved, but they always had good ethics and morals. Lessons, lots of lessons. My mother and father always taught me that you can't take back a handshake. And when you promise someone something, no matter what it is, even if you regret what you promised, you made a commitment and you fulfill it. When I borrowed that $4.5 million from the banks, there was never any fine print that said, hey, if the market craps out, don't pay us back, or, just turn back the keys or ask us for a discount. Right. And, it's interesting because if your family is starving, and there's people starving right now, inflation, people out of work, whatever, if you go to Publix and you steal a shopping cart of groceries for your starving children, you will be arrested and you will have a criminal profile. If you borrow $4.5 million from a bank and you call the bank and say, I can't afford to pay you back and I'm not going to pay you back, there's nothing criminal about that. I have to feed my starving children, go to jail if you steal food, borrow $4.5 million and just tell the bank, listen to me, I am not paying you back. You can ding my credit. Ooh, scary. Ding my credit. That's all they can do. That's it. I have no money and I'm not paying you back. And I spent the $4.5 million. It's gone. It's a very, very strange phenomenon. And a lot of people don't think about that, but it's really disturbing. It's really disturbing.
I've never thought about the way you just painted that perspective. It's
the truth. You can borrow as much money as you want, and all they can do is ding your credit. Maybe we'll come after your future earnings. That's not so scary. If I have no future earnings, you're never getting paid back. And I still have totally made all these bad decisions and I just get away scot-free. But the guy who's starving and his family has to eat to survive, he spends the night in jail, maybe a week in jail. Maybe he gets taken from his kid. It's sick. Anyway, back to the lesson at hand. They taught me, mom and dad, when you make that commitment, you live up to it. I wasn't doing any cash for keys. There were no foreclosures. There was no remodified mortgages. I knew that I had possessions. And if I was willing to dump all the good stuff I owned, the Mercedes, the nice car, the Rolex, the jewelry. Oh, I had this awesome Cuisinart. It was like $300. I used to blend a lot, like a $300 Cuisinart. It was just nice stuff. So if I sold everything, I can get my hands on cash. I had accrued enough assets. So I sold everything I own. I traded in that Mercedes to a mountain bike that I bought at Target. The Rolex became a Casio calculator watch, and the three-bedroom home in the country club became mom and dad's convertible futon in their guest bedroom. I sold everything. I had accrued so much junk. You had asked me what kind of money I was making. I liquidated everything in 90 days for $2 million. That's how much junk I had accrued. So the stuff was worth way more than $2 million. I got $2 million for it. I went back to the banks. I paid the $4.5 million mortgage payments, which was about 30 grand a month, down to $2.5 million. And surprise, surprise, I was able to unload those albatross properties for $2.5 million that I had bought the year prior for $4.5 million. I was officially textbook broke. No real estate, no personal possessions, no asset accounts, no car. I was broker than your dog. I had nothing. Mom and dad, can I sleep on your couch? Of course, of course, of course. We love you. Come on in. But another life lesson from dad. You've got 90 days. I said, 90 days for what? I go, I'm your son. He said, that's exactly right. He said, you have no wife yet. You have no kids yet. You have no responsibility yet. And you're starting over. Imagine had you gone to law school or medical school, you'd be 27-ish, broke, and really in debt. Hey, at least you don't have any debt. There's no debt whatsoever. You paid everything off, all those nasty mortgages you carried. You are starting scot-free like you just graduated college. You just learned something over the past 7-8 years. So we said, you have 90 days to get your life together. You're not going to be one of these sad cases that spends the next 30 years of their life living on mom and dad's couch, whining and complaining about the money they used to have and how life sucks. Get it together. And it was the best advice. He kicked me out. He kicked me out in 90 days. I didn't need 90 days because I have that fire never to fail. I wrote a business plan for a real estate company. I met my future, now current day, two business partners, Mark and Jack. Jack Javen was a CPA, early 60s. Mark Levy was an attorney, early 50s. We got together and we worked on my business plan for real estate.
And you knew them. These are guys you knew. They were from being in the business.
Nope. No. Jack's son was my contemporary, and we were neighbors in the same country club community. I knew the son. He said, you got to meet my dad. He is buying / inheriting / acquiring an interest in a real estate company, and they need a young fireball to run the business because my dad's a CPA, brilliant guy with numbers, clearly not a good guy with numbers, great guy with a budget, clearly not a good guy with a budget, someone who's fiscally conservative, someone who's not fiscally conservative, and you got to get together with him and bring all of your fire and energy and sales and marketing and hustle and grit and tenacity to see what you guys can do together. So I hooked up with Jack, who introduced me to Mark, and
Can I pause you for 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Can you tell me, do you remember what it felt like when that was all happening? Like what was the impact to you? Were you just like, okay, no problem, I'm good? Like you weren't bummed out? Like you weren't almost depressed? Like,
oh, it was upsetting. But to me, I looked at it like when I lost a football game, that was a Saturday, because high school plays football Friday nights and Saturdays.
Right.
That was a Saturday. Next Saturday, whole new game. It's going to start over. And when my dad brought the perspective that I'm not 45 or 55 starting over, I was in my late 20s and I had no one else I was responsible for. I didn't have to feed the kids and I could sleep on his futon. So I looked at it as, okay, the last 7 years, I made a bunch of money, some poor investments in the past 12 months, and I gave back 7 years worth of earnings in a matter of 12 months. Let's start the game over and let's have a whole new game for the next 7 years. That's the way I looked at it. So yeah.
It's like perseverance. Like, I mean, you were bummed out, but that's a very, very common characteristic I hear among people who are successful in business. The ability to, you can fall on your face, you can fail, but the ability to take all the lessons and then dust yourself off and go right back.
I bifurcated in my head. That was just a chapter. It was a bad chapter. Closed. We're starting a fresh new chapter. And that's how I've done everything in my life. Fast forward 20 more years to the Peleton you mentioned earlier with the weight loss. I race every morning. If I don't get first place, my goal tomorrow is to get first place. I'm the only person in the state of Florida that's won Peloton races 26 times. Nobody else in Florida has come in first place 26 times. I'm one of the only in the United States. I'm definitely the only one in the state of Florida. And I've ridden for 2.5 years. I'm only celebrating the 26 first places. I got second place this morning. I'm a loser this morning, total loser. I raced 27,000 people. Look at my Facebook page this morning. Second place makes me a loser. Tomorrow.
To what degree does that actually, you say you're a loser, but to what degree do you actually take it that seriously? Like, I mean, it's not
I'm
like
not a
ruining your day.
loser. I'm not a loser as a human being. I lost that fight, that battle, but tomorrow there's a whole new battle.
And you're just coming back harder. Like you're just not like
That's it.
that
That's
mindset is
I'm back to
powerful.
100% tomorrow morning.
Yeah. You know,
I'm
you
back to
look like you look like you're in super healthy. Like I can see your face, your skin, like you're like you look at really healthy. So how much did you weigh at that time? We're jumping to the weight for a sec, but what were you up to?
well, I don't want to answer that because it's part of the story that'll
All right,
show
go
you
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
because it's important if you want to get the whole story. Jack, Mark, and I hook up. That was 16 and a half years ago. We launched the company in March of 06. March of 06, not a great time to be starting a new real estate company. And we started with 12 people and 4 real estate office locations because they had acquired a small boutique real estate company. Mark's an attorney, no real estate brokerage experience. Jack's a CPA, and I was the workhorse. And what was interesting about our business arrangement is I didn't want to just be their employee. They're both in their 50s and 60s. I'm in my early mid 20s. They wanted to hire me. And I said, I'll work for you, but I need an incentive program to earn equity in the company. And they're both kind of laughing to themselves. Look at this kid who's younger or equal to our children's age. He thinks he's going to be our partner. We're well-heeled business entrepreneurs, highly successful, public companies, CFOs, CEOs, etc. Hey guys, listen, here's the deal. If you want me, put together a plan that I can live with. It can be very obscure, not obscure, excuse me. It could be very skewed, meaning very much in your favor because you got the money and I'm broke, but make it appealing to me. Make me work because I know what I'm capable of. 4 years later, I own 40% of the company. The company started with 12 people, 4 locations. Fast forward 16 years, we've got over 1,470 people, 22 offices, 3 states, $1.5 billion a year worth of business. Jack and Mark are very happy that they put that incentive plan in place for me to earn out on their little obscure mom and pop business that they'd acquired.
I bet.
I don't want to skip 16 years, but I want to kind of tie it all together. What I've learned over that 16-year period is the tenacity, the drive, the waking up every day at 4 a.m., the going to bed every night between 11 and 12, the hustle just makes me so much happier. I can't sit still. I literally get a twitch when I sit still. I need some failure. I can't win at everything. I need some failure because it grounds me. It levels me back out so I can come back to fight tomorrow. Because if I keep winning at everything I do all the time, you just get accustomed to it. So I need to kick in the nuts every once in a while so I can get back in the saddle and fight again. We've opened offices. They failed. No problem. I'll open 2 more offices next year. I'll make them both successful. We've hired some top agents. They left our company. No problem. I'll hire 3 new top agents to replace them. So we've had plenty of loss in the business, but for every 1 loss, we've had 10 wins. So I'll take a 10-to-1 ratio all day long, every day. Over the 16 years, the industry has changed. Forget about the market from viewers' perception. Oh, the market goes up and down. My business, my industry has changed. And it's not just technology. When we started back, 15, 20 years ago, a lot of realtors were working for the owners of the company on 50% and 60% commission splits. That was the norm. Anything beyond 60% was really unheard of. Today, agents don't tolerate anything less than 80 or 90 or 100%. And you scratch your head saying 80, 90 or 100%. How does that work? It doesn't make any sense. From an outsider's perspective, it seems absurd. And it is absurd because unfortunately the competition is such that these Mickey Mouse brokerage shops open up and they offer no services and they start offering high splits in exchange for no services. Think about the McDonald's and Burger King model versus a decent hamburger restaurant. How do they make 99-cent burgers? We all know the meat is what the meat is. We all know the service is what the service is, but there is a portion of the population that won't pay more than 99 cents for a hamburger. I personally am not that person, but there is a large portion of the population that won't pay 10, 12, 14 bucks for a really good hamburger when you can buy them for 99 cents. And that is true in a lot of businesses. So I've had to learn to change my business model drastically because at the end of the day, we've got 40 payroll salaries to run every week. We've got to pay for all these offices, a ton of marketing, huge nut at the end of the month. We don't have any money left in commissions. Let's not forget my sellers have become more and more and more sophisticated. They laugh in the face of a 6% commission. They're expecting to pay 5 or 4, God knows what pathetic amount. Everything else is inflating. My commission's coming down. A car cost $10,000 more than 2 years ago. The microphone in front of you cost $50 more this year than last year. Your pen is an extra 25 cents. My commission is a full 15 to 20% less than a year ago. It's insanity. So my customers want to pay me less. My employees want every dollar I make. Boy, am I getting sandwiched. So we've gone wide. We've diversified our business from exclusively selling real estate to selling every affiliated real estate service that we can monetize. Signature Real Estate Companies sells $1.5 billion worth of real estate minimum every year. We profit as a company very, very, very little on that $1.5 billion because the overhead's huge and the income is minimal because the agents take most of it. Where do we make our money? Signature Mortgage. We will lend you the money to buy the house. Signature Background Screening and Credit Check. We will run your pre-qualification before you go out shopping for a home or a condo or even a rental to make sure you're qualified. Signature Moving and Storage. We will pack your belongings, we'll box them up, we'll bubble wrap them, and we'll ship them for you. Signature Title Group. We will close the transaction and sell you the title insurance. Signature Insurance. We'll sell you your homeowner's insurance, your car insurance, your life insurance, your jewelry insurance. Signature Construction. We will remodel your new home. We'll build on an addition. Signature Swimming Pools. We will drop your little chlorine tablets off every single week and scoop out the dead frogs and the lizards from your pool. Signature Home Warranty. You're going to call us when your dishwasher and your microwave and your stove break down, and we're going to send a repair person to fix them. Signature School of Real Estate. We will teach people outside the business how to get into the business so we can monetize them on lower commission splits because we're paying, just like a big Fortune 100 company would pay for you to get an MBA, we will pay for you to get your real estate license to incentivize you to work for less once you get into the industry. Every single conceivable affiliated service for the real estate transaction, we've learned to monetize. And my biggest success story was 6 years ago. Out of necessity, I had to keep track of all the lunacy that's going on in my brain and all the busy paperwork that my agents were working on. So I needed to develop a piece of software to track all of the moving parts of the real estate transaction. I needed an all-in-one system. It didn't exist. I shopped everywhere, high and low. I trial tested a million platforms. Nothing was what I wanted. So I partnered up with Michael, who is my software partner, and all the craziness and the 25 years of experience 7 years ago back in my head, I was able to dictate and draw on a dry erase board what I wanted. Michael used his legendary architect level software engineering experience to code out what I wanted into an engineered platform, and we launched Total Brokerage. Total Brokerage is the only spinoff that is separate from all the other Signature affiliates, which is why Signature is not in the name. All the Signature branded companies forward face to our public consumer audience because they've gotten familiar with the name Signature. Total Brokerage does not face customers in the buyer and seller space. Total Brokerage focuses on real estate agents and real estate brokers all around North America and outside the US. Total Brokerage's systems, CRM, transaction management, accounting, cloud storage, internal communications, compliance, file management, e-signature, text marketing, email marketing, and a laundry list of other tools. We're beta tested by Signature. We worked out all the kinks to make sure it delivered on what I wanted. After multiple iterations and bug fixes, we developed a fully mature platform product for the agents to embrace. It helped us really maximize our efficiency at Signature. It helped us streamline our workflow. It also helped us to recruit more top talent because they wanted to work at the only company in town that had this awesome piece of software to help facilitate their business. And then Mike and I spun it off as a standalone enterprise, and we now have over 100,000 users paying us a monthly SaaS software as a subscription model to use our platform all around the US. And our software is used in 42 states and 6 countries by other real estate agents and real estate brokers to organize and manage their entire business workflow. So there's a lot of moving parts to what I do.
Wow.
There's the real estate brokerage side, which is my core business, where it makes very little money, but we have a ton of affiliates that all bring in the income because we're offering all these other great services with well-qualified vendors to provide those services. And then there's the software spinoff, which is an isolated standalone company that targets other real estate companies around North America using my expertise of running a company, my know-how of business to codify this engineered product that benefits other more simple-minded real estate agents that wouldn't come up with something so sophisticated.
You know, you weren't kidding when you said just more or less let you tell your story, because you really brought it full circle. when this started, you said it was 12 people.
Yes.
It was Signature was originally 12 people, and then you came in, and the Signature that we all know and see everywhere today is what you're with the creation of you and your team.
I actually changed the name. It wasn't even Signature. It was called Quad Realty. Quad Realty, 4 locations, 4 markets, 4 audiences, Quad 4. What a cheeseball name. So we acquired Quad Realty and we did a DBA to file it for Signature, which is obviously the sky's the limit when it comes to growing the name and sophistication.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody who doesn't, I mean, people could watch this all over the world or in different parts of the country. If you're in Florida, I mean, you can't look left or right without seeing Signature. It's everywhere. So, 2 questions. One, I didn't hear you talk about any apprehension or fear along the way. Like you lose for a second, you just go. I'm gonna diversify. I'm gonna do it. You just listed me 15 businesses.
My property management company collapsed, so we spun it off and sold it. My first construction company collapsed. We spun it off and sold it. My real estate office at Boca West, they didn't want to renew my lease. My real estate office at Addison Reserve, they didn't want to renew my lease. They closed me down. My real estate office at Wycliffe, they wanted to close me down because they learned from me. They decided they don't want to share money with me anymore. They learned from me. They got the money themselves. What do they need me for? No problem. We're big boys. Pull up your britches, buckle up your hat. Let's go. Let's do this. But it's all possible because I have an incredible family support system, an incredible work support system. I surround myself with gifted people. I'm gifted with my wife, Jody, our 3 kids, Max, Sloan, and Brody. Max's bar mitzvah is 2 months from this week. So we're in bar mitzvah mode at our house, getting everything ready. That's super exciting. Yeah. And my work family is incredible. Jack and Mark are unbelievable. And the 40 employees we have that make me look good every day, running the legal affairs, the technology affairs, the marketing affairs, the social media affairs, the IT affairs, the web development affairs, the training and teaching, the compliance affairs. These are unbelievable people. My wife and I have been married for 14 years, and my wife's smoking hot. I mean, she's a fox. I'd pick her up any day of the week. Cat calls from everybody. Gorgeous. So I got this gorgeous wife. I got $1 in my pocket. So I'm lazy, right? So I sit down, I eat junk food. I eat the crap the kids are eating, the chicken fingers, the macaroni and cheese, the pizza, and I balloon up like a pork chop. I'm just a big fat butt.
All right, hold on. At what age did that start to happen?
About a week after we got married. Like when you have a smoking hot wife and you got money and she can't go anywhere.
I can't do the math. You were born in 77. So how old were you when this happened?
I got married at 29. I started getting fat at 30.
Okay. So you balloon up though. You have your kids, you balloon up and tell me that part of the story.
I'm not even quite sure how she slept with me. I was so fat, but I did. And we had kids. So, she loves me no matter what.
There's a will, there's a way. You don't want to lose. You figured it out.
She's a good Midwestern girl. She's going to stand by my side despite how many belt loops I have to keep going in reverse order, bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. And she's always on me, but like not really on me. She's like on me passively about losing weight. And then back in Valentine's Day of 2020, my wife Jody says to me, "I'm scared." And I said, "What are you scared of, honey? It's Valentine's Day. We're going to have a romantic dinner. Probably get fatter." And she said, "I'm scared because I read about this like disease that's coming from Asia and like it's really attacking overweight people and people with respiratory issues. And you're really heavy and we've got 3 little kids. And I'm scared that all the money in the world is not going to make them happy if you're gone." And I said, "So you want me to lose weight?" And she goes, "No, I need you to lose weight. If you didn't want to do it from all my prodding and suggesting, look at your kids and recognize they can't get along for the rest of their lives with a father dead at 40. I said, "Okay, good point. Well taken." So she orders this S&M machine called a Peloton bike in Valentine's Day of 2020. I mean, this thing is disgusting. It's like metal with clips and buckles. And to me, it looks like a clothing rack. I'm going to put my dry cleaning on it. What a waste of $2,500. So the bike gets delivered on February 22nd, 2/22/20, February 22nd of 20. Now, granted, this is only 8 days after Valentine's Day. So this is when Peleton was just like pumping them out, way before the big boom happened during the pandemic. And we're waiting 9 months for a bike. I got mine in 8 days. First day, the bike comes and I look at this thing. I spit at it. I'm so pissed it's taking up space in my house. She gets me on the bike, which is like giving birth. I thought I was crowning, literally like 10 centimeters. And I pedal for 5 minutes. I mean, what a hero. What a macho dad. 5-minute ride. Can you believe what kind of wuss? A 5-minute bike ride. They actually schedule 5-minute rides. That is so sad.
You're like up a hill, down a hill. That's it.
With a motor, 5 minutes. So I do this 5-minute ride. I'm soaked in sweat, can't breathe. But, my tenacity kicks in. That was pathetic. 5 minutes. The next day, I'm going to do another 5 minutes tomorrow, but I'm going to sweat less and I'm going to pant less. By the end of the week, I was doing 5 minutes and I was sweating, but like only just a little perspiration. I'm like, I'm getting better. Maybe I should go to 10 minutes for the next week. 5 became 10, 10 became 20, 30, 40, hour and a half, whatever. Now, do you know anything about Peloton personally yourself, how it
I
works?
have one. I do it all the time.
Okay, well, then you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So I really should be straitjacketed for sure. I want to know, as I'm doing these like 60-minute rides following the instructor, I'm like, do you think it's possible to crank up the resistance? Now, for those that are watching, don't do Peloton. Resistance is one of the more challenging parts. It makes you feel like you're going uphill and downhill. So I crank it up 60%, 70%. I'm going a full hour, like 60, 70%. I'm not following the instructor up and down, higher, lower, higher. I am just going to town, right? I do a ride for 60 minutes and I do a whole 100% resistance for an hour.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
and I'm probably one of the few people on the planet that's capable of doing 100% resistance for an hour. And today, and for the past year and a half since I've gotten there, I haven't ridden 1% less than 100 on every ride. All I do is I ride at 100%. I
You're
literally am
telling me you have the resistance all the way
100.
cranked up?
I'm not only at 100%, I also stand the entire ride, every ride. So I stand. Now, I don't do a full hour because I'd be too emaciated. There'd be nothing left to me. I now do 30-minute rides every day, but I do a 5-minute warm-up ride just to get my body acclimated to the intensity of the Tour de France that I conduct in my guest room every single morning at 4:30 in the morning. And I ride for 30 minutes at 100% standing. And anyone who follows me on Facebook knows that for the last 2 years, I've never missed a day. I haven't
You do it
missed a
every
day
day.
since that bike got delivered to me in February 22nd of 2020. I have not missed a single day. I've ridden in 14 states. I've ridden on over 70 different bikes. I've been at about 100 different hotels. I've never, ever missed a day. I will not ever miss a day at 100% standing for 30 minutes.
How many
Ever.
calories do you burn in that 30 minutes?
750 to 800.
Holy shit. That's
So I'm at a
insane.
whole nother level. And if you
Wow.
friend me on Facebook, and you can just scroll through
Wow.
my last 6 months, just every single day. I actually post the ride live.
James,
I
put
put my
him on my
stats up every
Facebook.
day.
Put him on
And
there.
and Jamie, by the way, there's two Bens, right? There's fake Ben and real Ben, but they're both me. What's the difference? Ben Schachter is my awesome marketing department that I pay a lot of money to make me look like a stud on Facebook. Ben G. Schachter is my goofy ass with all my weird family stuff and all my wife's
That's
catering
the
and
one I want to see.
cooking. Yeah, you want to see Ben G. If you want to see the
Yeah.
crazy stuff,
Yeah, I want to
Ben
see that.
G. Schachter. If you
You,
want to
you
see the
got him?
fancy schmancy real estate stuff, super professional, then Ben Schachter.
No, I want to see the bike stuff. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, it's there.
That is
I was just in
unbelievable.
Universal Studios this weekend with the kids for the past
So
2 days.
you went for 30. So you do 30 minutes. Just to give you a perspective, you know IHP, the gym in Boca, Institute for
Yes.
Human Performance. Okay, so I go there like on Saturdays because I can only do this level workout once a week. And I work out with a trainer for an hour doing the tank, pushing the thing across the gym. I burned 850 calories on Saturday in 85 minutes. Just to put what you're doing in perspective.
Yeah, it's up there. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, in a half hour, but it's 100%. I don't even know how you move your legs with 100%.
I have tree trunks for legs. I go to the Peleton store in Town Center Boca. I ride there sometimes and put on a little show for the other folks in Town Center. And we really go
I'm
to
coming
town.
to watch. This is crazy. This is the best part of the show.
Let me know when you want to. So I'm very intense about it. I love it. I'm passionate about it, and it is what it is. So that's really good. So anyway, my wife's real happy. I'm much better in bed now, thankfully. I went from a 46-inch waist to a 34-inch waist.
Oh my
is
God.
cool.
That's
So she's
fantastic.
happy about that.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Wow. You're 6'1" with a 34-inch waist. Wow.
And I
I
love it.
Congratulations. That's that's the message. Just so many people cannot do what you're talking about for whatever reason. They can't get past what's up here.
And it's funny, and I'll keep this in mind for the people that want to lose weight or get healthy. Everybody always says when you lose weight, and people think losing a lot of weight's like 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and God bless you if that's a lot of weight for you. That's awesome. I mean, I literally lost a full person. I lost a whole human being. My wife doesn't weigh 120. I lost 120. I lost 2 of my kids in terms of weight loss.
Right.
So people always want to know the secret. How'd you do it? Tell me. They always think there's a secret. And
this call will be recorded.
Sorry about that. My computer makes weird noises. So I'll tell you the secret, right? The secret. Ready, everybody? Lean in, right?
Lena, what's the secret?
Do a lot of cardio and stop eating crap. It's so easy. That's
I thought you were gonna say just close your mouth and
Matthews
stop
weight
eating.
loss tips. Stop eating so much crap and do cardio. It's a miracle. People always say, I want the pill, I want the shake, I want the surgery. How do you do it? The same way I fight every day for my business, the same way I fight every day to be the best dad I can be. I fight every day to be the best husband I can be. I fight to win Peloton races every single day. There is no days off ever. Never. Plain and simple.
That's it.
And that level of tenacity and that level of intensity definitely separates me. And I intimidate a lot of people. And a lot of people say, I can't live up to your standards. I'm a chubby Jewish kid that grew up in New York. The parents dragged him to South Florida. There's nothing special in my DNA except my unwillingness to be second place and to be a loser, ever. When I played football freshman year, we lost every game. Now, that's a team sport, so I'll have to take it on the chin for the whole team that we were a team of losers. We lost 13. We were 0-13. How pathetic. And I went to after season, postseason. I'm thinking to myself, that was a horrible feeling. I never want that feeling again. So whatever it took sophomore year to come back better, we came back. Were we 13-0 the next year? No, but we did really well the next year. Yes, we just got it together as a team and as an individual. That's just always how I've run my life. And it's hard for others to understand that, but it's not difficult if you stop watching so much TV, if you stop jerking around on Facebook, if you stop making excuses. I mean, I asked my agents as sales technique to fill in what I call the D.I.P.E.R, because babies wear diapers. It's the daily informational agent performance and evaluation report, the D.I.P.E.R, daily informational agent performance and evaluation report. All it is a schedule block for the day. Show me every single thing you've done today for your career. I'm sure you've been plenty busy with buying groceries and taking your kids to school and getting haircuts. That's great. Block that out for a moment. Show me what's on your career agenda for the day. And it's shockingly pathetic how many people can't even fill up 60 or 90 minutes and they profess to be working full time. What'd you do today? I got no freaking clue, dude. Nothing. And your bank account shows it, doesn't it? Your bank account shows it. Look, for you and I to schedule this meeting today, I think it was like 3 months in advance to get on the calendar to find 1 hour between us because you're a successful dude. I try to be successful. It took us 3 months to find a day to find an hour to be together. I'm booked every hour by hour from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. And that doesn't include my 2 hours of exercise in the morning and then my 2 hours of the bedtime routine, getting the kids with homework and nighttime stuff. I mean,
I'm booked out like a month in advance. Like it's like, I mean, I can move stuff around like you can, but I'm a solid month to actually get something on the account. If it's sales related and it's new business, all right, that's different. But just meetings, even booking these shows, it's months in advance.
But people who either don't have the drive or the hunger or the willingness to make the sacrifice, they just second place is good enough. And what's sad, Matt, is for a lot of people, like 75th place is good enough. 189th place for a lot of people is good enough. And that's just not something I can subscribe to or tolerate. And people even ask me, Ben, come on, you're in your mid 40s. I just turned 44 a couple months back. Sell the company, cash in, especially at the height of the market when things were bananas. I would be dead in a week. I would put my head through a wall. I wouldn't know what to do. I need more opportunity to fail so I can have 10 times the opportunity to succeed. I need like 20 more years of this before I even consider cashing in those chips.
Wow. I had that conversation. I was out to dinner with somebody. Have you gone to that new place yet? 60 Vines over by
Is it good? I have to check it out.
It's good enough. So we're sitting there tonight and I was with a guy who just sold his company. And I don't know how much he sold it for, but he's living well. And I don't think he has to work again. And he said to me, when are you going to do that? And I said, never. I'm like, what am I going to do? I mean, I've got a great business going. And so if I sold it, I'm not going to play golf. I just want to build something. I want to work. I can't stop. It's like nonstop. I'm like, I get up at 5, not 4, and I go until I go to sleep. I'm like you. We're similar in that way. I have no desire to cash out. It's not about the money anymore. It stopped being about the money a long time ago.
Yep.
It's about what the hell are we capable of? Like, how far can we take this, and what can we build? And the little wins I enjoy the wins. I enjoy them. It's a great feeling. The more, the better.
I notice
And not only
everyone I know
that, the enjoyment
will
of
do
watching
this.
other people in my company win is very, very fulfilling. I don't know if you can relate to that too.
Of course,
Yeah.
everyone I know that's successful is a competitor and will go the extra distance. You can't be a time card puncher. You can't be staring at the clock all day.
Can't be a
You
clock
have
watcher.
to be able to hustle. And
No.
you cannot discount the importance of having a good support system around you. I shared with you earlier the importance of my incredible team at work. They're the ones that make me look good. I can spend the hour with you and I cannot look at the clock because I know other people are taking care of the business.
100%.
People I can trust. They're honorable, they're reliable, they're professional, they're knowledgeable. I've personally trained them, and I know when they give an answer, it's going to be just as good as if I gave the answer. And that's what I want for my family. I have to know I've got kids that are doing well in school and are academically performing, and they're staying out of trouble, and they're decent human beings, and they're not overly spoiled. A little spoiled's okay, but not overly spoiled. I just want to be the best at everything. And if I feel that I'm going off the rails, I've got to find a way to quickly correct it to get back on track.
You just gave me the opening for the last question that I had for you. You and I didn't grow up the way that our lives are now. But our kids are growing up very differently than we grew up.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge, right? So how do you balance that where you got to teach work ethic? Yes, they see you, but they may not be you. And my kids see me, but they are not me. They're not wired like I am. How do you teach your kids to have a work ethic? I'm going to read you a few things you said: ethics, morals, integrity, ability to persevere, drive, hustle. You see things that nobody else sees. Like you have a vision, like all these things I wrote down while you were talking about what you did. How are you teaching your kids that?
Every time I get them a gift or take them away on a trip or do something, above average, I'll remind them I'm able to do this for you because I've worked really hard to get where I am, and I expect the same from you. I expect that at all times. I've been able to take you on this trip because I've worked really hard to do this. I've been able to buy you this present because I've worked really hard to do this. My son's bar mitzvah is going to be a total circus in a very, very good way. I'm able to do this for you because I've worked super hard to do this. My parents gave me a beautiful bar mitzvah, but I watched them, have to cut back on certain things. I watched them have to shave the guest list. Like, what about that third cousin? No, we can just stop at second cousins. We have to go to third cousins. I've explained to my children time and time again, I'm able to do this for you because I've worked hard. And I said, you better love what you do and you better work harder than I do. You better not work less hard. You don't work less hard because you get to ride on my coattails. You have to work harder than I did, the same way I had to work harder than my father, and he worked harder than his father. We just have to keep passing it down, and the energy and the drive has to be there. I'll make sure you're always taken care of if you slip up or make a mistake, but you're going to have some struggles along the way, and I'm going to let it happen. I'm not going to let you fall too dark into a hole, but I'm going to let it happen. My son falls down as an example for a little kid. My 7-year-old falls down, and I watch the other parents in the playground go bananas. Oh my God, my kid fell. His leg's bleeding. Hey, brush it off. Let's go. Get back up on that jungle gym. But I'm bleeding. Wipe it off. Wipe it off. You don't have a blood disease. Get up there. Start climbing again. The pain will stop. Okay. And he's fine. I watch the kids that get coddled because they cut their knee on the jungle gym. I can't do it. I can't do my homework. I can't do this. It's too tough. It's too painful. I don't want to do it. I'm going to sit by myself. The parents. He's expressing himself. He has a knife against another kid's throat, and he's threatening to slash her throat. He's expressing himself because that's what you're grooming. The one that throws bricks at other kids, the other one that pours paint on the keyboard. He's
You are
expressing
programming the kids. You are right. That's some serious programming at a young age that sets the tone for the rest of their life.
Of course,
For sure.
It's totally sick. So
That's a really good response. I mean, I appreciate that. There's people out there who will use success as an excuse, meaning like, you know what, I see how people are who've been successful, and I don't want to be like them. It's not really true though. It's whatever you make it. There's nothing wrong with having means so that you can help yourself and others. And if you can do it, you should do it. You should strive for it. You're an extreme. I mean, you're like, that's why I like having you on the show. Most of the people that I have on, this is the conversation. Everything I wrote down that you said is consistent with almost every other guest I've had on that's built something from nothing. And I love it because it's always the same message: hard work, be humble, do whatever you can to reach your potential. I had a guy on last week who, grew up on a farm. His parents were in the military. He basically told stories that had the same message as yours. They were the same messages: hard work, persevere. It's always the same. It's always the same. And those things can be taught. They can be taught to somebody who is teachable.
Of course. When I had COVID twice, I Pelotoned every day because I have not missed a day since I got the bike.
No
And
kidding.
I came in first place with active COVID.
So I had COVID for on August 3rd for a week. I couldn't get out of bed. I was like I'm in really good shape. I don't do what you do for a workout, but I work out like 5 days a week since I was like 13. I'm almost 50. I'd walk up the stairs and be like, I got to lay down. I don't know how you did that.
To me, it was mental. I shut down that part of my brain that said I didn't feel good. I did feel like crap afterwards because, of course, COVID's all respiratory and that heavy intense cardio is awful. So I was having trouble breathing afterwards. And it kind of was a wake-up call to me just how severe that decompartmentalization in my brain is, that I could shut that down for 30 minutes and fight through it to pay the consequences afterwards. I'm not suggesting other people should be like me at all. I'm suggesting other people should be less like themselves because the laziness.
Say that again.
I didn't suggest that everyone else should be like me. I'm suggesting other people should be less like themselves.
Meaning
because
what?
the preponderance of excuses, the preponderance of laziness, the preponderance of finger pointing is just so unbelievable to me that you're not going to get anywhere if you can't own up your own wins and your own losses. Accept them for what they are and just keep moving forward and try to get better. Learn from every experience. Don't step on other people. Don't hurt other people. Look at yourself in the mirror every morning and say, today's going to crush it. I'm going to crush it every day. Literally brushing my teeth, 4:15 in the morning, getting dressed. I'm like, how am I going to crush it today? What am I going to accomplish today?
We're stopping right there. That what you just said, that's outrageous. It's so right on. It's so right on. Yeah, we're gonna wind it down. This was one of the coolest interviews I've done because you did all the work. I mean, you told a great story.
Sorry if I talked too much.
You hit every point like just right on. Like everything you said, it's all highlights. It's an hour of highlights, and that's the point. We talked before about why we're doing this, and I appreciate how busy you are that you took the hour to do this. If we inspire one person to go lose weight, one person to go get on a Peloton, to be healthier, to get off their ass and do anything that you talked about, then I think it was worth the hour. Neither of us make money from this. This isn't about business. We talked about your history, but we didn't talk about business, so to speak. This is about how to win. This is about how to be successful and how to reach your potential. So, man, that was a good story. I'm inspired. I'm going to get on a Peloton. I'll see you later.
I'm looking for your friend request on both Peloton and Facebook, because then we could keep each other motivated.
I get on those things sometimes and I see all the people that are getting ahead of me, and I'm trying and some people are they're so far ahead, and I'm like, now I know how they do it. They're just cranking the resistance up and they're blowing me out of the water.
So I mean, people always say, what's your secret? What's your secret? The secret's really simple. You stand, which gives you more power than sitting, and you set the resistance at 100%, and you go from the start, the jump, until the race is over at full speed. That's it. I can't do that. Well, you asked how I get first place. I go full speed at 100% for 30 minutes. That's called winning. You don't have to win.
700 calories, man. That's insane.
But
it's so efficient, and that's 30 minutes what you're burning.
They tell you, right, the first 3, 4, 5 minutes is a warm-up. Then they always have the obvious cool down. During the cool down, I could burn another 25 calories in that last minute. I could go another half a mile in that last minute when everyone else is sitting down gasping for air.
Do you track your steps during the day? Where's my thing? Hold on. You don't do this?
I walk, but not anything record-breaking. But let's just keep in mind that I've gone 14 miles of race, plus a 2-mile warm-up, plus a 2-mile cool-down. So I've done 18 miles.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Before anyone else wakes up. I'm already 18 miles into the day.
I'm just curious, on top of that, if you happen to be out and about and you're busy all day, you might walk 10,000 steps, which is another 400 calories, on top of what you did in the morning.
I bought a Peloton for my office, strictly for fear that we'd ever lose power at home, and I'd have an office building with a generator so I could ride in the office. I've got 3 friends that have generators in their homes that I can ride when my power goes out. And
you have a bike in each of their houses?
They have bikes. I have my Peloton posse. I've had to go to their houses. My dad's funeral, the day my dad died, and he was one of my best friends. Loved my dad more than anything in the world. I was on the Peleton when I found out he died. I knew he was sick. He was in hospice. I was back and forth to the house 10 times a day, but it was one of the times I left the house to go exercise to kind of clear my head. He died. I jumped off the bike, went there, dealt with the funeral home, got him to the facility, you know, where they prep the burial home, whatever it's called, and went back and I did another hour afterwards because I just had to, you know, burn it off. I need it in the office because if something pisses me off in the office, instead of punching through a wall, I got to go blow off for half an hour so I can recenter myself and get my stuff together.
You know, I'm going to start riding a bike again. I got it. I haven't ridden the thing in like 6 months. I just got so into the high intensity stuff at the gym, but like now I'm like, shit, I'm going back on the bike.
You can get high intensity if you do what I do. You'll be the same high intensity. Yeah. And you know, it's not bad stuff you get to look at when you're on the bike either. So that's kind of fun too.
All right. So we have to end this. This could go on forever because this is like, should be a motivational speaker. Shit. We talked about a lot of things. I kind of ran down a list before, but the big takeaway is that message, you know, be humble, do the work. You can reach your potential, but there's no end to that. It just you reach the top of the mountain and it's like you start over again. Like, there's no end to it. And that's what you've said in so many ways. You've seen opportunities, you've seen ways to keep reinventing the business yourself, and there's no wall that gets in your way. And so that's a fantastic message. Is there any
part? I want to mention that humble part because I didn't use the word humble, and I agree it's super important. You did, but I thought of something that's really important. People ask me why I answer every phone call, why I don't screen out calls, why I answer all the numbers that I get from all the phone numbers that are unrecognized, and I think that ties into trying to be humble. I will give anybody and everybody the time of day. It's theirs. They just have to show me it's worth it. I'll give them 5 minutes. I'll give them 10 minutes. I let every crazy ass telemarketer call me and pitch me on Comcast and Bell South and AT&T and, you know, life insurance and welfare, whatever checks that they want me to donate to causes. They have to make it worth their while. So I'll give them an opportunity. And my door is always open. I closed it right now because we're in a Zoom meeting. I won't be interrupted, so I don't get feedback for you that's inappropriate. But anyone can walk into my office, no appointment needed, any time of day. And I try to make myself available to everybody. And they appreciate that. They really appreciate that.
You haven't said the word humble, but in the midst of everything I listened to, I've picked up on it, and I think it's true. But the way you talk about the things and the people around you, as hard driving and as type A and as aggressive as you are, that has nothing to do with being humble. You are coming across to me, and I think to everybody who watches this, as a humble guy, because you've told the story, but you haven't talked about what you have. And the closest you came was talking about when you were 26 years old, having a Rolex and a Mercedes, but you don't come across in a way.
Turned into a bicycle and a calculator watch.
Yeah. Like you're not like, look at me. It's not like that. I'm not getting that energy from you. I'm getting a very humble energy, even though you're successful and we know it, but that's okay. It's okay to be successful and people know it, but you're still humble.
Thank you.
That's how I'm picking up our conversation. That's how it's coming across to me. And that's why I said it. So I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to ask you if there's anything that you want to share as far as how people can reach you, website, social media, etc.
Absolutely. I'll give you my phone number, website, email, whatever you want. Love for people to reach out. Always love feedback, and happy to help anyone I can, whether it's business related, personal related, motivational related. My personal email is Ben, B-E-N, at signature, S-I-G-N-A-T-U-R-E, Florida, Florida.com. Ben at signatureflorida.com. Even better, take my personal cell phone number because, like everybody, our mailboxes get jammed up. 561-302-9099. Again, 561-302-9099. And if you want to hit us up online, signaturerealestatecompanies.com, and that's plural, signaturerealestatecompanies.com. Love to hear from you. Love to hear from your audience, and appreciate the feedback.
We're also going to put all of that down below in the description. So anybody that watches, just go down below. And on top of that, you're going to see social media, probably going to see your Facebook pages and Instagram, whatever you have.
Yeah, like me on Facebook. Again. You'll see those Peloton quotes. Ben G. Schachter. You'll see every day I post my stats.
I'm already on there. I'm watching you. Thanks again, man. I really appreciate it. This is really, really a great show.
I loved it. I was really enjoyed talking to you. It was very natural and comfortable and a lot of fun. And I appreciate the real positive feedback. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, listen, good luck. I'm going to keep, we're going to stay in touch. We're going to look at, I want to watch what you're doing and how much more you're going to continue to build as we go forward. And I'm going to watch your biking endeavors. So
I just got a text from our professional photographer. This morning was my son's pre-bar mitzvah photo shoot. So they just went live on the South Florida bar mitzvah page. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, while we're here, they just texted me.
I'm going to let you go. So listen, thank you again.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. Do the intro, outro.
Yeah, let's just do that one more time. The last part. I'm going to say thank you again. You thank me. We'll pause for a second and we'll kill it. All right. So Ben, thanks again so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. And I hope this was really helpful to so many people out there. And you are definitely a motivational, inspirational guy. So thanks.
Oh, it was a real treat. I want to thank you, Matt. It was really a privilege seeing you from this perspective, and the interviewee side was a lot of fun. And I look forward to building a longer, mutually motivational and rewarding business relationship as well.
Awesome. Cheers. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, Matt. Thank you.